All right, picture this. It's the very beginning of World War II. You're a soldier, part of a tiny, isolated group, and you're staring down an entire armored corps. What do? Surrender? Or fight to the very last man? Well, this is the incredible story of a group that chose the latter, a legendary last stand that would echo through history.
40-1. Just let that sink in for a second. Those were the odds. For every single Polish soldier defending the line at Wizna, there were literally 40 German soldiers. And those Germans, they weren't just on foot. They had tanks, they had artillery, they had air support. On paper, this whole thing should have been over in, a couple of hours, tops?
So that's the big question we're diving into, right? How in the world does a handful of soldiers, so completely outgunned, manage to hold up one of the most powerful armies on the planet for 3 whole days? It's an incredible story of guts, smarts, and just sheer desperation.
And it's because of that incredible defiance that this battle, which took place from September 7th to the 10th, 1939, gets its famous nickname, the Polish Thermopylae. It's become this huge symbol of heroic resistance, standing your ground against an enemy that seems absolutely unstoppable.
Okay, so to really get how they pulled this off, we have to look at where they were fighting. The location, the actual ground they were defending, was everything.
So the secret sauce here was really geography. If you look at this map, you can see what the Poles did. They set up this 9-kilometer defensive line that was anchored by 2 rivers, the Neru and the Bibza. This whole setup was basically a giant roadblock designed to guard these super important river crossings and protect the main road to Warsaw from the German invasion sweeping down from East Prussia.
Yeah, this whole setup was officially called the Wizna Fortified Area. And we're not talking about just a few random trenches here. This was meant to be the absolute key, the linchpin of Poland's entire northern defense. The thinking was, if Wizna falls fast, the highway to the capital is basically wide open for the Germans.
But here's the kicker. As strong as the idea was, the fortress was, it was unfinished. The bunkers they did manage to build were beasts. We're talking thick, concrete walls on hills overlooking a swampy valley, tough nuts to crack. The problem? They only finished 16 out of a planned 60 bunkers, and they only had 720 soldiers to man the whole thing. The line was stretched incredibly thin.
And that brings us to the forces involved. I mean, we've already said the odds are bad, but let's really break down just how much of a David versus Goliath situation this was.
So let's start at the top with the commanders. Leading the German charge is General Heinz Guderian. This guy is a legend, one of the creators of the whole Blitzkrieg concept, commanding the elite XIV Panzer Corps. And on the Polish side, you have Captain Władysław Raginis, a dedicated but pretty much unknown officer leading this small, thrown-together garrison. Talk about a mismatch.
From there, the numbers just get, insane. The Poles have maybe 720 soldiers. The Germans roll up with over 42,000 troops. I mean, that's not even a fair fight. It's a tidal wave against a sandcastle.
And when we start talking about firepower, it gets even crazier. The Poles had 6 small artillery guns. And tanks? 0. None. The Germans, they brought 350 tanks and almost 700 heavy artillery pieces. You've got a state-of-the-art armored division going up against a few concrete boxes.
I mean, this table really tells the whole story. Look at this. The Poles have 2 anti-tank guns. The Germans have almost 200. 42 Polish machine guns versus nearly 1,000 on the German side. You can look at any category you want. By every single measure, the Polish defenders were just completely and totally outmatched.
And yet, despite these impossible odds, they fought. And what the Germans thought would be a quick morning's work turned into a brutal 3-day siege.
So here's how it went down. On September 7th, the first German scouts show up. The Poles immediately blow the main bridge to slow them down. By the 9th, Guderian's full force is there and the real assault begins. And yeah, the German tanks eventually managed to break through the line between the bunkers, but here's the cool part. Their infantry couldn't follow them. They were getting absolutely hammered by machine gun fire from those Polish bunkers.
The Germans were actually shocked by how hard the Poles were fighting. They got so frustrated that they started trying mind games. They dropped leaflets from planes, basically saying, hey guys, give up. Resistance is futile. The rest of Poland has fallen. But it didn't work. The Poles just kept fighting.
But as time went on, the German noose got tighter and tighter. And as things got more and more desperate, the whole battle really started to revolve around one man, the Polish commander and his unbreakable will.
To keep his men's spirits up, to show them he was with them to the end, Captain Raginis made an oath right alongside his second-in-command. He promised them, I will not leave this post alive. And with that one promise, this stopped being just another battle. It became a fight for the very honor of their country.
So by midday on September 10th, it was over. The command bunker was pretty much out of ammo. His crew was wounded, unable to fight. Raginis knew the fight was done. So he gave his final order. He told his surviving men to surrender. He wanted to save their lives. But for him, he had made an oath. True to his word, he refused to give up. He stayed behind and took his own life.
The human cost was just devastating. Out of those 720 Polish defenders, only about 60 made it out alive. Now, the official German losses were small, maybe several dozen, but here's what really matters. That 3-day delay they caused, it completely wrecked the German timetable. It bought just enough precious time for other Polish armies to fall back and avoid being surrounded. And this is what's left of Captain Raginis' command bunker today. It's now a memorial, a real tangible piece of that history, marking the exact spot where a handful of men stood up to an entire army. It's the perfect symbol for a battle that was, a defeat on the battlefield, but became this incredible, enduring moral victory.
So it leaves us with a really interesting question, doesn't it? I mean, let's be honest. The Battle of Wizna was a total military defeat for Poland. The line broke and almost everyone was lost. And yet we don't remember it as a failure. We remember it as a legend. So what is it really that turns a hopeless last stand like this from a simple defeat into something immortal?